Let the service begin. Good morning, everyone. Be seated, for it is the Lord's Day, Baal Day, Baal Day, Sunday, the 18th of June, 2023. It's an everyday task of preparing my weekly sermons for the simple reason stuff is happening every day, going down fast. Yep, all around us. From every direction, we are under attack. Under siege might describe our situation better. And it doesn't matter if we know it or not, or believe it's happening or not. To steal a famous one-liner from Murray, his favorite saying, trust me. Well, people, trust me. We are involved in asymmetrical warfare. That's it, period, end of discussion. So, in doing my daily due diligence, doing the heavy lifting so you don't have to, gathering information, news you can use, I got distracted. Yep, at the Bonnepeter pit, believe it or not. And it was my buddy, yep, my mailman, no names, people, your secrets are safe with me, that not only distracted me, but my mailman, my buddy, is responsible for today's podcast. You might say, this podcast is for you, my buddy. Now, before I continue with my buddy's new revelation, his new question, a question my mailman thinks will torpedo any flat earther, let's cover an incident that has received very little media coverage, nationally speaking, like in local news only, but it has a national impact. It had to happen somewhere, and it had to happen sooner or later. Precisely 635 miles west of Willow City, North Dakota, USA, Mr. Tom Van Hoos opened his business, Highwood Creek Outfitters, in Great Falls, Montana. Montana, where the men are men, the sheep are nervous, and Murray frolics in the weeds, only to be greeted by 20 heavily armed imaginary revenue agents and agents of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the BATF, Bravo Alpha Tango Foxtrot. And what was this army of federales looking for? What was their mission? To seize all the federal Form 4473s. Now, if you guys ever purchased a firearm from a gun store, you filled out Form 4473, and the gun store holds those forms on site. They don't get sent anywhere. Now, when a gun purchaser undergoes a background check, either called in or via computer, the only description of the firearm being purchased is long gun or handgun. No make, no model, no caliber. However, on Form 4473, all the details of said firearm are listed. Nifty National Gun Owner Registration, concealed in plain view. Who would have thought? Now, a single IRS agent wearing a sports coat, not even wearing a tie, wouldn't even need a gun, could have just as easily walked into that gun store and demanded all Form 4473s, and the licensed gun dealer is obligated to surrender them. Obligated, dear bottom feeders that are rubbernecking, means he has to. He has no choice. So why the 20 armed federales? Simple, people. To send the average American a message. We know what you own, but we have way better, cooler firearms than you, and on the average, we are way better trained than you, and we can bring a lot of impressive firepower to bear on your pathetic asses, whether it be at your business or at your home. Oh yeah, they like to send that message. In short, the message they want to send is, resistance is futile. Now, didn't the imposter-in-chief, Biden, warn the American public that if you want to wage war against the government, you better have F-16s and nukes? Oh yes, he did, people. He said those exact words. So there you go. It finally happened, and it's just one more piece of the total asymmetrical warfare involving all of us. Now, moving on, let's get to the new main sermon. Yep, let's talk about my mailman. So earlier this week, my buddy, my mailman, thought he discovered the silver bullet, the torpedo that would blow every flat earther out of the water. Are you ready for this, people? Are you sitting down? Because here it is. Correction curves and roads prove a ball earth. Now, it's just fixing to laugh out loud, because while this might be new info to my buddy, it was old news to me. But my laughter was cut short when a few other mouth breathers at the Bonnepeter pit jumped in with, oh yeah, what about them, idiot? Now, with all due respect, my buddy, have I ever argued with you about the subjects you are an expert in? Hunting and fishing and taking time off? Have I? Nope, not never. Nor would I, for those are subjects I know very little about, and I defer to you, an expert in all three. So I'm going to guess, my buddy, that on one of your many social media sites, someone poured that cup of piss in your ear and you ran with it. Again, trust me, pal, no disrespect, but I'll bet you a beer you've done very little research into cosmology, cardiography, and lat-long navigation. Tell me, if you can, about the Mercator projection map. You should be very familiar with it. All of us should. It's the map that the teacher always pulled down from the blackboard or on the wall somewhere. The world map. Yep. Sitting over there somewhere by that globe. Now, these are subjects I'm pretty well versed in, my friend. So let me digress a minute, people. I think I mentioned this before. I tried to join the Army on May 10, 1973 to fly helicopters. High school to flight school, they said. Now, it's a long story how in October of 1973 I ended up joining the goddamn Navy as a scope dope of all things. Radar man. Maybe someday I'll tell you how one guy, yep, yours truly, could fuck something up so bad to achieve that outcome. However, little did I know then how useful radar technologies would become to me 46 years later. Now, back to the matter at hand. Just yesterday, my fellow top secret operative, codename Otis, and I were traveling to an undisclosed location, conducting, you guessed it, a top secret mission. No, I can't talk about it. We'd all be killed if I did. You know that. And Agent Otis is not, I repeat, not a flat earther. As we were en route to said undisclosed location, we traveled through a correction curve, a curve in the roadway. I informed Agent Otis that our mutual buddy, our mailman, said they build these curves in the roads because the earth is a ball. Agent Otis laughed. And it should be mentioned here that Agent Otis's day job, his cover job, is road construction. 50 years constructing roads when he's not on top secret missions. So, my buddy, let's cut to the chase. Curves in the road versus why not build the road straight. My buddy, there are lots of reasons for curves in the road. Sometimes it's easier and cheaper to go around something than through it. Terrain. It's easier to go around a mountain sometimes and blast a hole in the middle, don't you think? Sometimes eminent domain. The ability of government to steal private lands for roads, railroads, and other public needs are factors. Look at just going around Berthold, North Dakota on Highway 2 versus going through Ray, North Dakota on the same federal highway, Highway 2. Think something political might have been involved when they were mapping the roads there? Now, building a road, a straight road with a 25% grade, can be very hazardous, especially, but not limited to, large trucks and vehicles towing trailers. But with curves, you can cut the grade down to a manageable 5 degrees, 5 to 7 degrees. But that is hilly and mountainous terrain. What about flat North Dakota? Probably the number one reason for curves, especially on flat land, is highway hypnosis, also known as white line fever. Put down your copy of Field and Stream, my buddy, and do the Google. Unless it was general quarters, maximum sweat, scope dope operators, like yours truly, were limited to only 1 hour of watching a radar repeater. For if you sat on a radar repeater console watching the sweep go round and round for more than 1 hour, you became hypnotized. You became mesmerized. My buddy, I could go on. We could talk about vertical plots we maintained on our ship. You had to learn to write backwards, so weapons officers on the other side of the flat plexiglass, representing a cylindrical map, could see the targets being tracked and any threats they proved to our ship. But, time won't permit it. So next week, if the Lord is willing and the river don't rise, I'll tackle the other big question. How could NASA, with a budget of $54 million per day, with 17,373 employees, 35% women, 65% men, not to mention all the thousands of commercial contractors, how could they fake the moon landing? Well, the answer is going to surprise you. It's a simple answer. And once again, believe it or not, my radar training will help solve parts of the mystery. But Dave, look at all the tech nerds with their pocket pen protectors that manned all those consoles at Houston Launch Control. Those dudes even knew how to use a slide ruler. Stay tuned, people. Get this. No amount of belief makes something a fact. But you can believe this. I got something to do.